What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. This week's episode is one that a lot of people have been questioning actually. It is the topic of Brock Lesnar's babyface run being really strange as fuck. And you're wondering why. And we're all wondering the exact same thing. So I'm going to be discussing that in today's video. But before we get started, if you guys notice in the background, it's not as bright as it is as normal. That's because it's not dark outside. It's actually cloudy. It's cloudy as fuck, and it's only 8 in the morning as I'm recording this video. And of course, my brother texted me. Wrong place, wrong time, of course, but that's okay. That's okay. So as I am texting my brother, if you guys do not know, hang on, guys. So as you guys are well aware, Brock Lesnar lost the WWE title to Drew McIntyre a couple years ago at WrestleMania on night 2, if I remember correctly. I believe it was night 2. I'm actually going to look it back on my book. I'm actually going to look back on the book. Yeah, on night 2 of WrestleMania, where we had 18 matches on the card. 18! That's insane. That's insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, think of the card. Of how crazy this card was. Hang on, guys. Okay. Think of the card. Starting with night 1, you had Cesaro versus Drew Gulak, Alexa Bliss and Nikki ASH against the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane for the women's tag team titles, Elias versus Baron Corbin, Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's title, Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan, or I guess now by his real name, Bryan Danielson, for the Intercontinental title. I believe Morrison, John Morrison defeated Kofi Kingston and Jey Uso, if I remember right. Originally it was supposed to be all 6-man, but because of some injuries and because of COVID, I know I shouldn't have said that, but it is what it is. It ended up being Morrison, Kingston, and Jey Uso, if I remember correctly, in a ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins in a no DQ match. Braun Strowman versus Goldberg for the Universal title. And of course, Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a Boneyard match, which basically was a buried alive match, to be more technically accurate. So yeah, that was quite the card for night 1. Now night 2 was different. Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's title, which this was the first time in WrestleMania history that an NXT title was defended at WrestleMania, which was big for NXT. Alistair Black versus Bobby Lashley, back when Alistair Black was in WWE. Now he's in AEW, if I remember right, under the name Malachi Black. I don't know. Again, I don't watch AEW, but yeah. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. The Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory for the Raw Tag Team titles, back when Andrade was out with an injury, or I guess rather out with COVID. So they replaced him with Austin Theory, which was a big mistake, and even I still think Austin Theory on Raw is a big mistake. And I might talk about that in next week's video. If you guys want me to talk about that, let me know in the comments. Because I just might. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and I believe Dana Brooke, Bayley, Lacey Evans, Tamina, Naomi, and Sasha Banks in a fatal 5-way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's title. John Cena versus The Fiend in a Firefly Funhouse match, and of course Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE title, which it took four Claymores to beat Brock Lesnar, which was insane, absolutely insane. So, as you guys are well aware, Brock Lesnar, as the now 6-time WWE champion, will be defending the title against the almighty Bobby Lashley, whereas opposed to Roman Reigns, he'll be defending the Universal title against Seth freaking Rollins. Against Seth freaking Rollins. I don't even know why I'm saying that. At the Royal Rumble, where Brock Lesnar wants to face Roman, champion versus champion, title for title. The Universal title versus the WWE title. Meaning, if Brock Lesnar wins, he not only retains the WWE title, but regains the Universal title. Whereas opposed to Roman Reigns, if he wins, he retains the Universal title, but wins the WWE title. Because you guys know, even though Brock Lesnar is a 6-time WWE champion, people forget he's a 3-time Universal champion, and Roman Reigns is a 3-time WWE champion and a 2-time Universal champion. So they're like polar opposites of one another, but they're so alike. They're both powerhouses. They both prefer to make money, which honestly I don't blame them. But the funny thing is that the fans cheer for both, which does not make sense. So the question is, why is Brock Lesnar a babyface? That right there is the question. If you guys know, back in 2002, Brock Lesnar started his career in WWE on Monday Night Raw, which took place not too long after WrestleMania, if I remember right. I'm actually gonna look online, and if I remember correctly, I believe he started the night after WrestleMania. Let's see. Let us take a look. Let's see. I apologize, guys, if it's taking forever. I actually wanted to try and let's see. Alright, so apparently, so he started in WWE back in the year 2000, when he was still a part of OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. He was signed to WWE back in 2000, and was sent to their developmental territory, Ohio Valley Wrestling, where he met where he met Paul Heyman. And funny enough, it was Jim Cornette who paired Lesnar with Shelton Benjamin for them to form the team known as the Minnesota Stretching Crew, which they ended up winning the OVW Southern Tag Team titles 3 separate occasions. He went on to wrestle some dark matches in 2001 and 2002 before being called up to the main roster in WWE. He debuted. Yep, right. The night after WrestleMania 18, which I. What is up? Let's see if I remember correctly. if I remember correctly, it was March 17th that this night took place. Yep. So he debuted the night after WrestleMania as a heel, attacking Al Snow, Maven, and Spike Dudley, which was during a hardcore match for the said hardcore championship, and he was accompanied by Paul Heyman. Once the brand's extension was introduced to WWE, or I guess back then WWF, Lesnar was drafted to Raw, but was later confirmed to have Paul Heyman as his agent, so to speak, and was given the name The Next Big Thing. His first feud was obviously against the Hardys, and he defeated Jeff Hardy by a knockout. And then later on, he competed in the 2002 King of the Ring, where the winner would face The Rock, where the winner would face, would challenge for the WWE Undisputed title at SummerSlam that year. In the finals, he went up against Rob Van Dam, the Intercontinental Champion, and he was then given a shot at the title, which was then won by the title was won by The Rock at Vengeance in 2002 in a triple threat match against Kurt Angle and The Undertaker. So by SummerSlam, he won his first WWE title, and he immediately rose to the top ranks of SmackDown, where he was then in a feud with The Undertaker. It was basically a battle of the young gun versus the young lion versus the veteran lion, so to speak. And Brock Lesnar, as the young lion, took out The Undertaker on multiple occasions. And from that point forward, he ended up in a match with the Big Show at Survivor Series in 2002, which then turned Lesnar as a babyface and the Big Show as a heel, as Paul Heyman, as well as Paul Heyman becoming a heel. But by that logic, Brock Lesnar ended up becoming a heel once again in 2003 when he aligned himself with Vince McMahon, and that was when he became, I believe, a 3-time WWE champion, and ended up facing off against some of the top stars on SmackDown. You know guys like Kurt Angle and Zach Gowen, who we have not seen him on SmackDown in years. Even also going up against guys like Paul London and Nathan Jones and the APA, so many others. And then by the time 2004 came, he was already a three-time WWE champion. He lost the title to Eddie Guerrero because of Goldberg, which led to Goldberg and Lesnar fighting at WrestleMania 20, which was then when both men left WWE. Obviously, you guys know a little over a year later, Brock Lesnar ended up going to New Japan Pro Wrestling to face off against Kazuyuki Fujita and Masahiro Kono in a triple threat match for the IWGP title inside the Tokyo Dome. And he was one of the few, funny enough, as a fun fact, he was one of the few Americans to have held the title. obviously he was one. AJ Styles was another, as was Kurt Angle. So there's been a few. There's been a few, but he even also went up against guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, Yuji Nagata, let's see, Hiroshi Tanahashi, even also Manabu Nakanishi as well. So quite a few. He ended up also going to UFC during this time as well, and also became UFC champion, and for some reason he also, and apparently Brock Lesnar lost the title to Kurt Angle via a tap out, and it was actually recognized by IGF and TNA, Impact Wrestling, which was crazy, which was Lesnar's last match as a professional wrestler until 2012 when he re-signed with WWE. And so from that point, and so from April 2nd when he came back, all the way up until what was it, 2014, August 2014, he was a heel, full-fledged heel, didn't give a damn, and he never won or rather regained the WWE title until SummerSlam 2014 when he defeated John Cena in one of the most absurd ways possible. It took like what? It took what? 14, 15 German suplexes to win the title, which was, or rather 16 German suplexes to win the WWE World Heavyweight title back in the day, back then. And then from that point forward, even from that point forward, he was still a heel. But if you guys know, whether when it came to events like Survivor Series and also SummerSlam at inside Barclays and the Allstate Arena and whatnot, the fans would cheer for Brock Lesnar, which was kind of sus. And then of course too, from that point forward, it was basically mixed reactions for Brock Lesnar. Some would cheer, some would boo, and then of course, and then on July 9th, 2016, WWE gave Brock Lesnar the green light to have a one-off fight at UFC 200, but Lesnar failed 2 of his drug tests for this fight, but was not suspended by WWE because of the fact that he was not a full-time performer. If he was a full-time performer, then you know what? Yeah, he would have been suspended. But if you guys remember, during the 2016 draft, he was picked. He was the number 5 draft pick for Raw. You're wondering, why was he not picked number 1 during this time? It was because of the fact that he failed his UFC drug tests. If he didn't, he would have been drafted number 1. But obviously Randy Orton was drafted to Raw, was drafted to SmackDown, thus became an interpromotional match. And they build their match as 15 years in as a match 15 years in the making, which was insane. But fast forward to now, when Brock Lesnar became Universal Champion the first time around, he was the champion for 503 days. You guys know Roman Reigns has been champion now for 500 5 days? So it doesn't matter how much longer Roman wants to keep the title. He's now broken Lesnar's record, which is which is impressive. But the funny thing is, when it came to Roman Reigns as a babyface and Brock Lesnar as a heel, it did not matter. The roles would be reversed for the fans. The fans would cheer for Brock. The fans would boo for Roman Reigns. Which fast forward to now, Brock Lesnar defeated Kofi Kingston for the WWE title on SmackDown's 20th anniversary show, which was on October 4th, which was their what you call it? Trying to think. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know. But this would actually be Brock Lesnar's first WWE title in well over let's see, 19, 18, 17, 16, 14, in well over 5 years. 5 years, which is crazy. And then he ended up holding on to the title until WrestleMania, until WrestleMania 36 Night 2, where he lost to Drew McIntyre. Now, as I mentioned, and then of course Brock Lesnar came back to WWE as a babyface, which he's once again WWE champion after defeating Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Big E to win the WWE title, and now he's reunited with Paul Heyman. Doesn't that seem sus? Him as a babyface, doesn't that all seem sus to you guys? To me it does, because as I mentioned in in the quote unquote background story, Brock Lesnar was always a heel. There have been times where he was a babyface, but the thing is that Brock Lesnar, no matter how you see it, Brock Lesnar was always destined to be a heel, because Brock Lesnar, he does not care about the adulation of the fans, or trying to get a big pop. All he cares about is the money. All he cares about is, and I know I made this joke before, but I gotta say it again. He's all about kicking some ass and making some cash. That's all he's about. And I know that was a bad joke. I know that was a bad joke, but it just seems a little sus. I feel like as if WWE is setting Brock Lesnar up to become a heel at some point, possibly during the Royal Rumble, which is a possibility, because you guys know there have been some fans in the WWE universe that have been cheering for Bobby Lashley over the last month and a half now. I think the last month and a half, and I mean, me personally, I prefer Bobby Lashley as a babyface rather than a heel, because if you think about it, as a babyface, Bobby Lashley has won the United States title. He's competed in Money in the Bank, and he became a two-time ECW champion. Whereas opposed to him as a heel, yes, he did become a two-time Intercontinental champion. Yes, he did win the WWE title. Yes, he did win his second United States title. But there's one key factor. It's the fact that when he was United States champion the first time, he held the title for what was it? 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, somewhere around there? I don't remember. It's been so long, but his second run was only a few months, so that speaks volume. But again, I feel like with Brock Lesnar, they might set him up to become a heel and have Bobby Lashley become a babyface, which is a possibility but I could be wrong. But again, I feel like it just seems so weird that Brock Lesnar is a babyface, because here's the and what's even more sus is the fact that he's been showing up practically almost literally every single week on Raw. He's been showing up to Monday Night Raw. Doesn't that seem sus to you guys? I mean, think about it. Think about it. When Brock Lesnar came back to WWE in 2012, he would show up when the big money matches were there. John Cena at Extreme Rules, Triple H at SummerSlam. He did not show up. I don't think he showed up at Survivor Series, did he? No, I don't think so. You know, Triple H at WrestleMania, Extreme Rules against Triple H. You know, against The Undertaker at WrestleMania in New Orleans, which I do not want to relive that again. Hell no. No, no, no. 1,000 times. Hell fucking no. I mean, against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31, and just up the road from where I live, just up the road in Santa Clara. Against Roman Reigns in New Orleans, he shows up when the big when the big money is there. Nowadays, he's showing up every fucking week. Am I the only one that realizes that this is a little sus? Am I the only one here? I feel like I am. But do I love this babyface run of Brock Lesnar? Honestly, I do. I actually love it because as I said before, Brock Lesnar was more of a heel his first run in WWE, and even now his second run, it's been mostly a heel run, but now it's a babyface run. I just don't understand it, but I feel like that he's definitely... I feel like with Paul Heyman now, once again, is Brock Lesnar's advocate, I have no doubt in my mind that Brock Lesnar will become a heel once again at some point. But and also another thing too, he's cutting his own promos now. Seems a little sus if you ask me, but again, it's so strange that Brock Lesnar is getting cheered fully by the fans, and he's showing up every single week. And it's all leading into his match with Bobby Lashley at the Royal Rumble. But now we have another question that remains: are we going to see Roman Reigns? Are we going to see the Universal title face off against the WWE title? Are we going to see it? It's possible, but not likely. And the reason why I say this, because with Seth Rollins facing off against Roman Reigns, if Seth Rollins takes the title off of Roman, it gives WWE the the signal to just scrap that idea and just move on, which is a possibility. But if Roman Reigns wins, which most likely it will happen, then we may end up seeing that match at some point, unless if Bobby Lashley takes the title off of Brock Lesnar, which is yet another possibility. But that brings me to the question of the day: do you guys like Brock Lesnar as a babyface or as a heel? Let me know in the comments. I want your guys' opinion on this. Let me know in the comments below. And that will do it for this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button if you guys are new to the channel. You guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which get posted every Monday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.